Call to order the Historic Review Board Tuesday, May 29th, 2019. Can we have a roll call?
Yes. Joyce Dalton.
Present.
Kathy Dennis.
Here.
Dwayne Hurt. Absent. Billy Green. I'll leave him open for now.
He's not going to be here.
He's
He sent the message, yeah.
Okay. And then Gigi.
Here.
Alrighty. Connie.
Connie's not, she's
Okay.
sick.
Roger.
Yes.
Braden. No. And then Todd. No. And Deb.
Present.
Okay.
Okay, did everyone have a chance to look over the minutes from the previous meeting?
I had a couple of things that I saw when I
Okay.
was looking this morning.
While you're looking, does anyone have a spare pen? The one I keep in this packet.
I can grab you one.
Here. Oh, do you?
There.
Thank you so much. Keep it with my,
Thank you.
There were just a couple of names misspelled, and that was the only difference. I wasn't sure if that had to be, corrected or anything like that. There was Roger under the approval of minutes, my name under correspondence, and then
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Joyce under adjournment. Everything else was fine.
We'll make those corrections if that's all right.
That was the only thing I saw.
Do I have a,
I move that the minutes be approved as corrected.
and a second, please?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same. Okay. All right. Then let's just move right along to 515 East 8th Street.
Okay.
Oh, she's right here behind you.
Yes.
515 East 8th. For those of us who ventured out in the cold weather, we just walked by there not very long ago. So I'm still flowing out. I'll try and read here. So 515 East 8th Street is a non-contributing property in the Elston Grove, local and National Register Historic Districts. It's a gable front style, built around 1880. It's a 1.5-story house with an asphalt shingle gable roof. Windows are primarily 1/1 double hung with a 3-section casement window in the front, bay window on the east side, and modern bay-style vinyl window at the rear. A porch with flat roof spans the front facade. Alterations. The house has had several additions over the years, resulting in multiple roof lines. House has been covered with aluminum siding. All windows and doors have been replaced. The front porch has wrought iron columns and railing. A wood deck has been added at the rear. Description of the proposed project: was an inexpensive rental, poorly maintained. I'm looking to retire here. Would like to add an attached garage and make one roof line. Would like to improve materials and visuals on the house. So for the staff recommendation, I tried to break it down into the many pieces of the project. So, because there's different things to say about each one. So, first of all, looking at the addition, and if you look in your packet, we have drawings of the proposed towards the end of it.
Yeah, there was
There's a
elevation,
drawing, elevation, and there's.
and then there was also a roof line. Yeah.
So you can see those. So, talking about that, the proposed addition will provide an attached garage with doors to both the rear alley and the front drive. A second floor will provide space above the current 1-story portion of the house, as well as the new garage. Proposed new windows would be awning type, and you can see that in the drawing also. The height, scale, and massing of the addition are consistent with the historic district. However, the windows in the addition should be the same type and style as the existing house, double hung. Staff recommends approval as submitted with the condition that windows be double hung rather than awning type, in keeping with the historic character of the house and neighborhood. Second item is the roof. The new addition will provide a continuous roof line front to back with the ridge of the new garage roof at the same height perpendicular to the main roof ridge. Entire roof, new and existing, to be covered with Owens Corning Duration architectural style asphalt shingles in Harbor Blue. And there's towards the front of her application. There's shingles here, like so.
are you finding?
She's doing two different things. Her staff report, she's on page 2 of the staff report.
Yes, yeah.
And then from
And then the application has all this, there's
All the colors.
lots of information.
she has a couple where she gave options, to which
See
that
that?
first page was.
Oh, because I just saw this from what came in the mail. I thought you were telling us this was the house. This is giving us the options for materials.
Yes.
This is
Okay.
just the material.
And is there a plan of what is being asked for?
Yes.
You made reference to that.
That's what she's
Yes.
telling you in here on the
Right.
staff
The
report.
addition, which is the last
The
page.
elevation.
There's an elevation like so.
You think it's in the staff report?
No, it's in her application.
It's the last page.
It's the last page.
Okay.
There's an elevation and then there's also a view
Oh.
from the top.
Yes.
So that shows the addition. It's going up with the second floor because the back part of the house, now there you need to look at the staff report. It'll make more sense. You can see the side view of the house has been added on to multiple times, so it just goes down, down, down. So she's proposing second floor all the way across here, so this will be one continuous roof line, north to south. Does that make sense?
So the one-story portion would be coming down to
No.
build this?
No.
No, it would be up to second floor to carry one roof line
Okay.
from the highest point.
And then if you look at the side of it, over here, there's an alley or a drive that goes from the alley in the back to the street in the front.
Mhm.
And so they're proposing putting a garage out there that would be attached to the house and would have a door in the front and the back. So you could drive in from the back alley into the garage, and then you could come out the drive head first and not have to back out into the street. So there'll be 2 doors. And there's in her application, she has pictures of the door, proposed raised panel door. So that's what she's looking at, and that garage would also have a second floor. Because as it is, there's very little space in the second floor, so this would give a lot more living space. That's what they're looking at, so that's what I was,
So in essence, it will be taking up the entire lot with house.
a fair amount.
It pretty much does now.
what it
It does.
already
So
has.
from the original front of the house, and it will go all the way to the alley.
No,
And I'm
No.
sorry that I'm so confused on this. I'm visual as an architect. I always get plans,
Okay.
and this is being described because there's no actual plan of it, and so I'm just struggling to understand it.
the only part of the lot itself that'll cover that it isn't covering now is the garage.
The garage,
That's
which
the only thing that'll be.
which has the site plan here, as you can see, and it would just be an L shape that comes off of the existing rectangle.
Oh, so it's not this.
It is this, but then with a little piece sticking out towards
That's existing,
east of there, due east of there, so closer to the property line.
yes.
But they still would have enough impervious surface to meet the standards of the zoning ordinance.
So,
If I shoot over my copy, will you
Yes.
draw on what it would be? Because I'm so sorry, I don't know.
It's not what you had there, it would just be like this.
So the addition only would go out to the side.
Yes.
Okay.
everything else is just going up. so
And that
it'll
is
be
partly
covering-
because the only access is from,
There is access both ways, one from the street, one from the alleyway, and the garage is not gonna be utilized all the way back at the alley spot. It's gonna be just off of the back of the house.
and the access to the garage will be from the alley, or,
Can go either way.
Either way, there'll be a door in the front.
and they had
a-
asked for a curb cut on.
There is already,
There's already a driveway.
there's a
There is a
driveway
driveway.
and then access from the
Concrete.
driveway.
It's a concrete driveway
It's already there.
that's there right now. Okay, so we're talking about the addition, that the proposed addition, I think, is suitable as it is, but the awning type windows are out of character. So that was my concern on the addition itself. The roof, I recommended approval. It's very suitable, similar to what's there. Siding, it has aluminum siding on it right now. And so they're proposing removing that and siding it with Allura fiber cement siding in Cavalry, which is a blue color, and there should be a sample of that color in there. It's very similar, actually I pulled it up online and compared it to Sherwin-Williams. They
Right.
have a blue that's very, very similar to
And that's
that
exactly
color.
what she was doing by pulling out the information to do so, to come up with some similar colors.
So I would recommend approval of that. I think that's a very appropriate choice. The front door, you'll see she had a couple proposed styles of front door. The door that's there now is a replacement door.
And I think it's different than, Roger was just saying it's different than the picture that you have in the elevation.
Is it really?
Yeah, I think so. Isn't that what you said, Roger?
Right.
This one right here.
I just took that picture.
No, but they had some kind of a screen or
Oh.
in front of it.
This picture right here was taken Sunday afternoon,
That's why I was saying.
so it's pretty fresh.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's what it looked like when we just walked by.
At any rate, it's going to get replaced, or they would like to replace it. And so there were a couple of choices that she gave in here, but I felt there's a, back a couple pages is this one right here, kind of faint. This one is, and maybe yours is brighter, my printer's not so swift, but this
Let's
is
see.
kind of a craftsman style with 3 windows up or 3 panes of glass up at the top, which I felt was a more appropriate choice.
Yes. I mean, got the idea, but now it's faded. But
Yours is faded too.
I mean, I can
So
outline
I'm
it.
recommending the craftsman choice as opposed to the more modern look. There was one that's just prior to that, looks like this, with 3 windows stacked.
Is mine better than yours?
Yes, I think it
No,
is.
but that's a different one.
That's got the 3,
That's the
Windows.
craftsman.
Yeah, mine is pretty good too.
yeah.
Yes,
Oh,
that one,
okay. Oh, okay.
not that one.
Not that. Okay.
I'm
That's
sorry.
fine. No, that's all right.
Yeah, so that, I feel that's more appropriate for that style of house, so I would recommend that particular choice. Garage doors, front and rear garage doors, as we talked about, steel raised panels, we saw that picture a little bit ago. Very appropriate, I would recommend approval as submitted for that. Privacy fence, there's existing a chain link fence along the back and side. They're proposing to remove the chain link fence and replace with a 6-foot-high pressure-treated pine dog-ear privacy fence. And there's a picture in the application
I think
somewhere.
that was,
Oh, right here,
okay.
like
Right.
so. So, 6 feet high. We also talked about putting an 8-foot-high fence at the rear adjacent to the alley, but that does not meet code requirements. I talked to Sue about that to see, and she said no, 6. And 6 is what our rules say. So I would recommend approval of this fence at 6 feet high. In wood, normally we don't allow a fence to be to the front of the property, a privacy fence, it's usually to the rear, but because there's already a fence there, I think you can replace it, and a very inappropriate fence, by the way, chain link.
Yes, yes.
So I think it could be replaced in the exact same location with a privacy fence, and that would not be a problem. Skylights are another thing. I think you'll see that as you look at the very last page. Those triangles on the roof are where they're proposing to put skylights in the roof. Our guidelines state that skylights need to be flat, so they're not visible, or as minimally visible as possible. So I would recommend approval, but the condition being that they be flat skylights. When we get to the windows, the existing windows all over the house are vinyl replacement windows. The owner proposes replacing the existing windows with awning-type windows. Windows on the first floor front to be installed approximately 5 feet above the finished floor of the porch to provide privacy, and there is a picture of that. Well, I guess that's on the elevation.
Right.
So you can see the awning windows way up to the top there with the sizes 36 wide, 30 high
on the first floor.
on the first floor, and then the second floor is 48 wide and 30 high. So it would be a very, very different look than what is there now. That's also a concern with code, the height of the windows, not just the clear opening, but the height. And I understand the need for privacy, I understand that, but I feel there's other ways to address that with a window that would look more appropriate for this age and style of house. Our guidelines state that new windows or replacement windows need to be of the same type as what's existing. And when you're replacing windows, they need to be the same size as the existing opening. That's in the guidelines. Of course, vinyl windows are expressly not allowed in this district, but the existing windows are vinyl, so vinyl replacements could be allowed for this particular instance. But replacement for non-historic windows must be compatible with the character of the building. So since awning type windows are not compatible with this era of construction or common on other houses of this period in the surrounding historic district neighborhood, staff recommends denial. And finally, for the front porch, proposing removing the wrought iron and replacing it with wood posts and railing, attaching wood lattice to cover the concrete base of the porch. And staff recommends approval as submitted for the porch.
As far as the windows goes, I know that they're not double hung on the first floor. What would be the recommended?
For this, I mean, obviously this is not original, but if
Right.
you look around other houses in that neighborhood and from that period, you generally see double hungs, either 2 or 3 of them installed together as one unit or very close together. So I would say like 2 long double hungs either together or close together would be inappropriate. There's numerous houses I looked around in the neighborhood. You know, when you take the siding off, there may be clues of what was there before, but it's hard to say. It's really a guess.
I would guess it's probably wood lap siding under there.
Yeah, I would say so.
From the age of the house, yeah.
So,
So the big, well, not big, but I mean the 2 parts that would need to be changed in the proposal would be the windows as well as, I guess that was it, because technically it was an option as far as the fence goes.
right. Yeah, I would say the windows are the thing that just don't fall into line with
Everything
the
else.
requirements of the district, with the standards and guidelines, so.
The only thing is just speaking on Sue's behalf, is I'm not entirely sure are these going to meet egress when they do change out the windows in
Yeah.
doing so.
That, she did raise that concern today
Right,
when I
'cause
was
they look
asking her
rather
about
small.
these. And she said, as long as you don't change things, you're
Right,
okay, but once you start changing, then you get into
you have to meet
issues with
the
egress.
code, right.
You're talking about the length.
Yeah,
Well, the length times the width
the
for you to
the
get
clear
tagged,
space to get in and out.
right.
24 inches clear and
Right.
20, so
So I think a 5.7.
5.7
Yeah.
square feet.
So that could be a problem on the original house on the second floor windows.
Because it's only specified for bedrooms, which would all be the second story windows. But it would only have to be one that would have to be to meet egress per bedroom.
Okay. Are there any questions about what Deb is proposing? And
The-
I don't, I didn't understand the fence issue.
see right here, there's a fence that comes this way and goes the whole length of you can't hardly see it in the picture.
And in that location is where this 6-foot privacy fence is proposed?
Yes,
And they additionally asked if they would be able, instead of just a 6 foot, if they could go 8 foot, but that wouldn't be allowed in a residential district.
so normally we would say on a privacy fence, it should start at more of
At the
a
rear.
back corner
Yeah.
and go back. This actually comes up almost to the front of the
Can you
house.
see it here?
I just wondered where it was in here, because I was trying to review what
It's
you
on
were saying. And
page
Yeah.
4.
I see the picture, but I just didn't see any description of what they were asking, so,
Oh, that's in her proposal.
yeah.
Yeah, I think all we've got in the proposal is just a sample of the fence, but we talked
Yeah,
about it
I
on the
think this
phone to get the idea
describes
of what she wants, so.
Yeah, this doesn't,
No, it
Give you
doesn't
any
say what or
information.
where.
Yeah.
So they just want to put it back right where it is, but as a wood privacy fence. Because it is pretty close to the next lot, which happens to be empty at
Which
the
is
moment.
for sale. We think you should buy it.
We think we should buy it, we just need to, buy
Have some money, right?
Gotta get one project done first.
That's true, that's true. Well,
Is there any questions from the applicants?
I just wanted to address very quickly about the variance for the fence. Since the Soren property has sold, it's directly kitty corner from us. And I had wanted the variance because it's a very narrow alley. They're going to be putting their garbage cans out there of some sort, or their dumpsters
in the alley.
in the alley. And they're also going to be having, if they have the condos up there or whatever they do on the first floor, there's going to be a lot of traffic. So for the back, if it's possible, I'd like to look at a variance.
You have to deal with a variance as
Yeah,
far as
you'd have to
historic
talk with
review
Sue
board,
now.
but the variance is gonna be requested through the Board of Zoning Appeals,
Okay.
which would be a separate commission.
Okay, that's cool.
And,
Then would they have to
perhaps-
come back here?
That's where I don't know, I've never had a variance to, get to overrule what is being requested or, said from us. The reason why we say that this is the rule is because it's the rule, but if they are allowed to get around that, I don't know exactly how this commission would
Yeah, I don't
vote on
know.
that.
We've
What would
not
the,
had this before.
what would the reason for preventing that be at the back of all places?
because the zoning right now says 6 foot. You cannot.
No, but if they get the variance, why would we object?
We
Isn't that
I
what you're
don't know
saying?
that it would
No.
really
Yeah.
matter
We
to us.
wouldn't.
My-
I mean,
my
especially
point was-
being adjacent to a commercial use, I could see it a little bit more of a hardship there.
But they'd have to approve
I'm,
that.
I'm sorry, though, what were you gonna say?
It doesn't quite make sense to me that we would be able to approve a 6-foot fence essentially near the front of the property and on the side, and that anyone would think it was inappropriate to put it at the back where it would make a lot of sense for the owners.
But that's not our decision.
I understand that. I guess I was just asking you if you could even speculate about the possibility of that being allowed as a variation by another department, because it would seem like they would like to have fencing that would match all the way going around
There is
rather than
chain
have a
link
combination.
right now on the back.
But that's not her point. Her point is like, it's sort of a visual, abrupt profile. We got an 8 feet profile and a 6 feet profile. Sure, it makes sense. We're trying to sort of do, let's say, the least footprint, variance footprint, but
By just requesting that, and I think that you may not necessarily get grantants if you're asking for everything in comparison to a single run of fence that's adjacent to a business in comparison to the one that's gonna butt up to another single family home or something like
And
that.
I understand, we'll take that, you're thinking out loud, I understand we
No.
would be taking that to a different
Right,
office.
yeah, no, I appreciate it, and I mean, that's something new for this board as well too, so we're all kind of interested to see how that goes.
And it makes sense.
Right.
Yeah,
But we
we hope to
can't.
improve the profile of what's on the lot.
Right. It sounds like a great
Yeah.
project they got going on so
Oh,
far.
yeah.
Just on the windows, I talked to Deb last week, this week, whenever it was. I lost my phone, or my phone died for a week, so I've kind of lost here. But at any rate, I found double hung windows that are approximately 24 inches wide, and I bought a couple that were 60 inches tall, and then they would be like 24 from the first floor
That would be
inches high.
great.
And
So we migrated much closer to exactly
This
what
is
you
sounding very good.
But I'm still really confused about the 5.7 for the top seat.
It's how many square feet? I didn't get that. That is to say, with those measurements, it equals 5.7 square feet.
The width plus the height.
And it's not the window, it's the opening. So you don't, accompany it for when you're open. Well, obviously you're not going to have a wine window. You're going to be having a double hung. So it's not to account for that bottom trim that's not going to necessarily open all the way.
So I think we're at the 5x7 because I'm going to be a little glib. It's a standard size window.
Okay.
Right, and the manufacturers know what that standard size has to be for egress.
I had a question. Should I have been taking scrupulous notes? I've been taking some, or do you give us something in writing? Because what we don't want to do is misunderstand what you said and then,
We could provide you with what the staff approval was given, as well as after this point, then you would go through the process of permitting, and they would want to verify that you have already gotten approved for what you were doing.
I just don't want to stray from the rails.
No worries. We appreciate you guys have gone the right path from the beginning. So
I just wanted to address your point about the addition. The whole house is 60 feet
Yes.
long. So we're talking about the addition being like where the ugly bay window is and the back porch on the side.
Over here on this side, Gigi.
right,
We're talking about, there's the driveway currently, and there, in the back, there's also a pad, cement pad for what used to be the garage. So we're talking about starting the addition halfway through the house and going to the back of the house.
Okay. So you don't have alley access, you have frontage.
Well,
No, they'll have that.
they'll have both. They
Because
still have a concrete pad that runs up into
There
where
used
there
to
would
be
be
a garage there.
yeah. That was demoed prior to
Yeah,
them.
you can see that. That must be this, right?
Yes, it's
Yes.
kind of a raised pad right now.
Right.
And rest assured, we took down the tree, which was really a danger to anybody who lived along those lines.
Yeah. Any other questions?
So I think we still need to make a motion on this one.
Yes, we need a motion.
Is it possible we need a couple so that we can approve what is exactly like your recommendations on those that are different?
Well, it came all as one.
And I guess we would just be approving what the recommendations are to be approved. There is no change in that, and even with the idea that the fence could change down the line, we're still sticking to our guns at this point.
Until they come
until
back.
they come back and tell us differently, that they have approval.
We don't misunderstand that.
No, I'm just making sure that the board is all aware, so.
So we are going by the recommendations that Deb has proposed for us. So I do need a motion.
I move that we approve the staff recommendations for the house at, is it 518?
5:15.
515 East 8th Street.
I'll second.
Okay. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same?
You're being commended for taking on this project.
Thanks, we're very excited about the move.
Well, it's exciting for us too to see a house being fixed up rather than left to deteriorate, so thank you.
Well, we're happy to do it, and I'll add that I think this is helpful for you to hear. I've been proselytizing to my peers to come move out of costly Chicago, costly Illinois, with the dollar signs in it, and that I call it capital flight. And I joke with them, but not so much a joke that your governor should send an extra special Christmas present to Governor Pritzker to thank him for all the.
People come.
What I foresee is that you're going to see a continued demographic influx of people who are maybe north of 50, maybe have more senior positions, are still working, but they don't have to be at the office at 8 a.m. every day in Chicago. And so I've been telling people, because I'm more in the entrepreneur, I say this is a beachy, chicy place for entrepreneurs to move to. So I'm letting you know that's my proselytizing.
Thank you.
I think that's the better argument. I moved also, but because of the beachy, chicy, beautiful place with less traffic. And not the economics, it's just a great place to live.
Well, we are original Michiganders, and all our family is still there. So we've been doing the drive for the last 35 years.
So you'd be a little closer.
So we know Michigan City, you know.
Yes.
I don't know if you can see this, but if you can see what's on my phone,
Uh-huh.
and I'm half joking, because people ask me, they say, "Oh, that's a cool shot. Where's this from?" I tell them Michigan City.
They don't believe you. Well, encourage them. We've got some houses we looked at tonight that we'd like to have them come and renovate.
I told people there's inventory. I told them you come here and there's inventory.
Yes, there is.
They're out.
There's definitely bones here for
Yes,
sure.
yes. Thank you very much.
All right.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you for your time.
No problem.
All right, now we will move to 707 Washington Street. Is there anybody here for that? Oh, okay.
Okay, well,
We'll figure it out one of these days.
707 Washington Street is an outstanding Tudor revival. It's built in 1915, two-story house with brick walls on the first floor and stucco and half timbering on the second. Windows are mostly 1/1. Some are divided into 4 or 6 panes with wood mullions. The roof is covered with asphalt shingles. The front facade has a porch at the north side. Description of the project: 6-foot cedar wood fence. Staff recommendation. Oh, and there should be.
I had
Did you
that
print
with,
these?
yeah, I printed it out. I only had 3 to pass out, so they're sharing
This is
over
a
there.
site plan that shows where it's going. So mid side of the back to the back side and around like so.
Mhm.
Gates is indicated. So the proposed 6-foot high wood fence will provide privacy from the restaurant, which is directly adjacent on the north side, and then there's alleys on the south side and the west side.
Mhm.
So we'll provide
And the barber
privacy.
shop on there.
Yep. This is right next to Top Dog, so.
Yeah, it's between Top Dog and the barber shop.
So all kinds of privacy needed there.
Just for the drive-through.
Yeah.
Definitely,
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
sure.
it's right by.
You know, it's
Well,
just
now
so
that they're gonna be
noisy.
open up a new one, so who knows, the maximum, capacity over there now.
It's true. So, location and the materials meet the
The
guidelines for the
Top Dog
Washington
is
Street
changing
Local
orders,
Historic
so-
District,
and coming up with a
and
new
staff
business.
recommends approval as submitted.
Yeah, same type of idea, but,
Okay, is there any questions?
who knows where it goes from here.
No questions, then we need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Roger moves. Second, please.
Second.
Kathy? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, moving along.
Where do you guys from?
Well, kinda. It's my daughter, she's the one that lives there.
You told me about windows.
Oh,
Okay, we're in the maintenance review for 519 East 10th Street.
These have all been approved.
Yeah, these ones have all been approved, so the
Nobody
first,
has any questions then?
yeah, the first one just being a re-roof with like materials. After a drive-by approval, and also seeing the materials, I was able to sign off on the maintenance review for 519 East 10th. Then the next one was 909 Cedar Street, with another request of a re-roof with like materials and another drive-by, and as well as materials.
Okay. Are there any committee reports? Any old business? We did have a lovely walk for you ladies that didn't get to come. And I know Billy wanted to really come too, so,
Maybe we can look into doing something else again.
yeah.
Hopefully we can get some better weather.
It got nicer as we got closer.
Yeah, it did.
Almost done.
Peaked out.
Poor Deb left her home, it was 20 degrees warmer than it is here. And it's not that
Yeah,
far.
It was
You
much warmer
guys.
here earlier today.
7
this
a.m. was
morning.
70 something degrees. And
Yeah,
It stayed that way
And
where
I was
I'm
coming back from LaPorte at like 4:15 and it was just pouring.
yes, it rained here too for a little while. Okay, any public comment?
I just want to introduce myself. My name's Kevin. I have a house down the road at 4th and Washington. It's 414 Washington. I'm going to be making a push here for new windows. I have some fish scale that needs to come down. It is rotted. It's wood fish scale that was original to the house. So what I was looking to do was just kind of sit in today, introduce myself, and come up with a plan for the next meeting, to where kind of give you some drawings and everything that I'm looking for the exterior. I'm hoping to have the exterior done. Boy, I would love to have it done by the end of August. So I would like to work with you guys as much as possible to really amp this up and be able to get everything done as quickly as possible. There's one area, the building is brick. There's just fish scales on the peaks. And then on the dog houses of the roof. I do have, the only other spot where there is wood would be on a staircase bay window where it carries the landing. The exterior of that has wood. So that's basic. That is all that needs to be done to the outside besides the windows. Except for I would like to put in a fence, nothing wood. It would be wrought iron, which I had to the house originally.
Absolutely.
What's that?
I said absolutely. Anything but, chain link, we would like to see.
And one thing that I was thinking of briefly, and maybe I throw this out here so you guys can give me some feedback, is the fence that will be on the front of the house. What I was really hoping to be able to do was use brick or stone pillars and connect that with wrought iron, where they would then have lights on top of them. So it would be pillar, wrought iron, pillar, wrought iron. The house itself is made from red brick. So I thought maybe that would be something that would be acceptable. To be honest, the main reason I'd like something like that is to have light out there. I just think that it benefits myself, the surrounding community. The more lights, the better, I feel. And it also ties the gate or the fence to the house a little bit nicer. So again, this is all something I can bring
On
up.
the corner of 4th and Franklin, there's a parking lot next to the one building, and they have a brick pillar and then wrought iron. And you might want to drive by that and see it.
Would that be
It's the
you said the corner of 4th and Washington?
4th and Franklin.
Franklin, okay.
Yes.
It's right across from the building that's being restored.
Mhm.
It's right
Yes,
across.
okay.
It's right. It's faces
Yes.
their parking lot.
Okay.
Very similar.
What the news dispatch moved to?
Yes,
Yeah,
it's right in there.
dispatch
Yeah.
and
Okay, I know what you're talking about.
It's
That's right.
parking lot.
Northern Indiana Education Foundation owns the building on the corner, and they own that lot.
Okay,
But it's very similar to what you're talking about.
Okay.
So you might want to drive by
Sure,
and see it.
sure.
And,
that sounds good.
Yeah.
And like I said, I just kind of want to get a feel for everything and then put everything that I can together as quickly as possible, so whatever you guys say, we can kind of move forward or just so I'm not staying still, to where if you guys meet once a month, that I just want to be able to get whatever you guys say so we move forward as quickly as possible.
and Paul is very good about resource.
Okay.
Mhm.
What did you say your first name was?
Kevin.
Kevin.
Yes.
As
Yeah.
good of a resource I'm in typically with the applicants and coming with things that I have yet to work with before. It's definitely beneficial for him to be here so that I can kind of almost get some of your feedback and how you think about some of the things that are being
Sure.
proposed. And
I did have one quick question. I don't want to take up too much of your time.
That's right.
In the very first house that you guys were talking about, it was the cement flex board that you guys were approving on, something like
the
that?
hardy board.
Yes, right. Would that be a possibility for the fish scale on my house? And
If they make it in fish scale.
okay,
Yeah, and I think some of the companies do, actually.
yes, they do, yeah.
So whenever we're allowing re-siding, replacement of siding, if it's not wood, that is the
Okay.
next choice, yeah.
And again, the main reason that would cost me more than it would cost for wood, but it's maintenance free.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's something that if I sell the house 10 years from now,
Yeah.
it's something that no one ever has to worry about, to where, 15 years from now, people haven't kept up on the painting, it still looks
And
nice.
you can get it pre-painted.
Right, correct, yes. So, that was it, so I appreciate your
Well,
guys'
thank you for coming, we appreciate that. Yeah, and the sooner you get the things together and get them in, we can get it.
Right, so I'm gonna have all my bids done, all the drawings done, everything that I'm going to hopefully need for you guys done by the time your next meeting.
So
And then-
our next deadline would be the 10th, so
Okay,
rather quickly.
yes, it
So,
would be, so, okay, that's no problem.
It would probably be helpful too,
yes.
if you
Yeah,
call me,
absolutely.
because usually I come out and make a site visit.
Okay.
And so that kind of helps, because my job, I work for Indiana Landmarks.
Okay.
But we're contracted with Michigan City.
Okay.
And so like I go out and look at the project and meet with the owner and kind of get all the information and then compare it to our standards and guidelines, make my recommendation, and then
Okay.
present it to the board, who then makes the final decision.
Okay.
So,
Alright,
More time better for her,
Yeah.
especially.
Yeah.
And so your next meeting is the 10th?
No,
No.
You just need my
the
information.
deadline would, all that would have to be in by then so that we can get it to the board.
And,
then they-
and what you mean by that would just be like her opinion on the windows, and any kind of drawings or my ideas of what I want to do.
So it would be an
There's an
application.
application.
So it'd be, it's very simple as far as the application goes. It's just more about having all your documentation with it. The more the better. We've gotten, ones where it's just a single handwritten thing, and they just kind of drew it out. But we've also gotten ones that are a lot more in depth. With a project like yours, you would want to have all your materials and your colors already ready. For
I have what I'm looking for, materials and colors already.
Mhm.
But it's not something to where you would need necessarily proof of I can't think of the word. Like if I had somebody come and give a bid on it.
No,
Okay,
we don't
you
need
guys don't need
estimates
that.
or anything
Okay,
like that. We just need more concepts than anything.
Okay, perfect. No problem.
And the best thing is to do with this is more is better than less, because you don't want to have to come back.
Sure.
So if you have something that's hypothetical at the moment, it'd be better to throw it out there than to have to wait another.
So I'll just give you everything that I need.
Right.
Now, and this is mainly for, like, if I wanted a deck on the house.
So anything exterior that would be visible from the street, more than often, some things that are not even visible from the street would also go through this.
Because there is a deck that is not visible from the street whatsoever. Should I toss that in there as well then?
Yeah, it wouldn't hurt.
Okay.
Is there a deck on the house now?
There is a deck on the house now, yes.
Okay,
Yes.
just want to change. Okay,
Well,
yeah,
this would be a second story deck.
I'll put everything down
Okay,
like
right,
I was saying.
okay.
Yeah, especially if you're talking a second story, that would be something that at some point of view, someone would probably say, oh, that'd probably be visible from the street, so.
Okay.
Is the application online, or does he need to come in to get an application?
It is online, I believe so.
And would I just go?
eMichigancity.com.
Perfect.
And if not, I can give you my card as well too, and I can email it over to you if you can't find it or something like that, so.
Kevin, would you mind giving me your last name? so I can put-
McGinnis. I wrote it down on the sign-in sheet.
Oh, all right.
Yep.
Hold on 1 second.
That's exciting.
Yes, hopefully.
Good. Well, thank you.
It's got a lot of. I've done a lot of work to it already throughout the years, but it's been the windows that have been the biggest problem because there's so many of them. So.
Let me grab a card for you.
Yeah.
1 second.
Okay, any other,
Is that the sign-in sheet right there?
Yes.
any other
Sorry.
public comment?
Yes, I'm here for some guidance. My name's Dave Augustus, I live at 218 East 10th Street. Recently, I had a chance to buy 212 East 10th Street, and I did that. And I called planning and development earlier last week. I wish to put in a fence in the rear of the building. And I'm getting conflicting sort of stories. Now, the fence I want to put in is 4-foot wood fence. would be completely invisible to the front row, the street. And I refer you to the minutes from the 22nd of June in 2015. I requested a deck that I played to be built at 218 East 10th Street. And they ruled that since it was not visible from the street, there was no need for a COA. So, that being said, I am hoping that I can bypass the COA issue for the fence in the rear of 212 East 10th Street and proceed to permitting.
Thank you.
I do have some photographs which will show the rough placement of the fence and a 6-foot tall hedge that will mask the fence going towards the rear of the lot. And then another section of the fence is a tear out and replacement of the fencing. So in light of the previous ruling, I was hoping that that would be stare decisis, already decided, and I could proceed without applying for the COA.
And there has not been a fence at 212.
There is a fence. There's a fence that is in poor shape that I'm removing.
What kind of fence is there now?
Board, 6+ foot board, but it's only in one section, about 43 feet between neighboring garage and my garage.
That would probably only be, I suppose, if there's been no change in the regulations since you got that.
Just says.
Not, I don't know.
He's saying there's a fence there already, Deb.
Staff approval.
Right.
But
He's saying there's a fence there already.
Do you want a picture?
If you have a picture, if you show it to,
Existing fence. Hedgerow where I anticipate placing the fence behind, running from this point to the alley. Along the lot line.
so there's existing fence now that's in bad repair that you want to replace,
Yes.
but you want to extend it a little further.
No, the dilapidated fence,
Went
the
the
fence
whole-
that goes there only takes that space. But on the east side of the property line of the lot, I want to put a fence from a hedgerow, which is approximately 30-foot setback from the road, back to the alley,
So that's between buildings
between the buildings, yeah.
where there is no fence
But there
now.
is no current fence, no. But completely hidden from the street.
How can it be completely hidden from the street if it's between buildings?
There's a 6-foot hedge in front
so
of the area that,
like this one, right?
yeah,
To where you couldn't see back into here?
through there,
Okay.
yeah.
Any comment? Well, I didn't bring up my book. What does it say?
It doesn't say real specifically, it tells about where a fence should be and its height. It says they can be staff approved if you're taking out a chain link.
That's the only approval.
That's the only
for-
other thing. It said all other fences need to be approved by the
So
commission, but
So he's wanting, the one part is just replacing wood for wood
Okay,
and the
Right.
back. That I don't see an issue with.
right, because that's also lines up with what it says as far as
Right.
that goes.
The one that he's asking different than is the long one along the side of the,
But it's not visible.
right.
But
it says here in need for a COA to determine the need. A COA is needed for demolition, moving, additions, new construction, exterior, reconstruction or alteration on the exterior, color change, or any conspicuous change in the exterior appearance of the existing building, including windows, doors, all exterior features, walls or fences.
Was it
but it doesn't
It's
say whether it
operative
can be
word.
seen or not. It doesn't say.
Conspicuous, isn't
Yeah.
that what, you know,
I
so
think-
if this is not
And I think
conspicuous.
that when we previously spoke and him bringing it up was that it wouldn't be visible from the street, but I also read somewhere that it didn't specify street, it said from the public way rather than the street.
Right.
And then certain points, when it says street, I'm very, directly from street, but when they say public way, it's very vague. And technically, an alley could be a public way if someone were to bend one way or the other.
They would want to get.
Your comments are about it being based on a previous decision. The previous decision only applied to the fence on the other side.
No, the previous
It was
decision
for a
was
deck.
for my deck in the rear of my house at 218 10th Street.
Oh,
It
so it
was
wasn't
deemed
for the
as
fence.
not being visible from the street, therefore no certificate of appropriateness
Okay.
was.
So that's not necessarily a
Gotcha.
related issue.
So, no, right,
But it is sort of a precedent, wouldn't you say? I mean,
no. You're putting something up along the side of the house that was never there.
true, and that deck was never there either.
But that can't be seen from the front of your house.
Neither could the fence.
I could
It's
stand it.
behind, it's behind
What if you take that
a
hedge,
hedge.
what if you take the hedge down?
Well, that's not my intention.
No.
Well, what happens in the winter when all the leaves fall off?
It's evergreen.
Oh.
I don't want to seem like I have all the answers.
No.
My thought, and maybe I'm wrong, but I thought the back one, he's replacing kind for kind. I don't think that's a issue.
The only thing is they're now looking at the fences, because this was the first two fences that I've had to look at since I started here. It's very vague how it's written in the staff approvals, only allowing us to take down chain link fences, which I understand why we would want to do that. But as far as there's no approval to it, there is just, approval to take something away.
So I'm thinking that there needs to be a COA.
Unfortunately, yes, that's what it sounds like. With the staff approvals not being, word for word, being able to say that that's
Right.
allowable.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I'm not disappointed.
Well, because you say you're not taking that down, but somebody else could come before us and want to do the same thing, and then after we say, yeah, they'll take down the cover, and then there we are. You won't see it all, so. All right, thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Uh-huh. Did he get his paperwork back?
Yes.
Any other business to come before us? Do I have a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Sure, I'd say all in favor. All right, thank you.